Well, there are atmospheres. And then there is St James's Park ahead of the Carabao Cup semi-final. February the 5th is a date that is etched in the minds of every Newcastle United fan, for it was on this date 53 years ago that, inspired by Ricky George and Ronnie Radford, Hereford beat the Toons to cause one of the FA Cup's greatest upsets. It was also on this date 14 years ago that Alan Pardew's Newcastle United came back from 4-0 down at half-time to record the Premier League's greatest ever comeback. And tonight, the son of the star of that show, the late Czech Tiote, Raphael, is a Newcastle United mascot. Well, we got a surprise from Sam Fender's saxophonist to gee us up before kick-off. Not that this place needed any geeing up, but Newcastle probably are worth reminding that they only need to keep Arsenal at arm's length tonight. But usually on this date, something dramatic happens. So what glory, what pain, what opportunity lies in wait at a vibrant St James's Park tonight. Newcastle have a 2-0 lead, but they've lost their last two home games, creating a creeping sense of anxiety around the place. Arsenal have lost their last two visits here, but have scored 23 goals in their last 8 away games and have a spring in their step after thrashing Manchester City. Whoever triumphs, whoever heads to Wembley, they will have created a magical memory along the way. Newcastle have Dubravka in goal, a back 3 or 4 depending on how it lines up. Trippier, Cher, Botman, Byrne, Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali and Lewis Hall, Jacob Murphy, Isaac and Gordon going forward. Unchanged Arsenal have Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Lewis Skelly, Odegaard, Partey and Rice in midfield, Martinelli, Havertz and Trossard up front. Tomorrow night, Liverpool against Tottenham in the second semi-final. Friday night, FA Cup action for you. Manchester United Leicester, the first of 11 live commentaries over the weekend from the biggest sports radio station in the world. No one has more football than us, and we love it. Our referee is Simon Hooper. The VAR is John Brooks back in Stockley Park. Here we go. It's a night for big personalities. It's a night for ruthlessness, for passion, for intensity. If you're a shrinking violet, turn the radio over. This is not going to be for you.
I'll tell you what, Sam, there's few times where I think to myself, I wish I was still playing football. Tonight's one of those nights where you think, my goodness, I wish I was out there in a black and white shirt.
Yeah, Stuart Pearce loves nights like this. He played in nights like this, and he can tell you exactly what the players are thinking. It is a back 3 from Newcastle United, with Lewis Hall playing on the left-hand side, and immediately Anthony Gordon is penalised for a challenge on this near side, gifting a set piece to Arsenal 10 yards outside the box away to our right. Newcastle in black and white striped jerseys, black shorts, black socks. Arsenal in red-bodied shirts, white sleeves and white shorts, attacking the goal away to our right.
Absolutely ridiculous there from Gordon. He's just pulled Havertz back for no reason, and he's created a problem straight away. Up the other end, what you normally get, the obstruction from defenders trying to block Isaac running through to deal with a goalkeeper. Arsenal got to put it in the box.
We know how good Arsenal are from dead ball situations, and Declan Rice, who has 7 assists in all competition, 5 in the Premier League so far this campaign, lifts his arm up into the air and floats the ball into a central area, headed away by Isaac. It'll go out for a corner, and if Newcastle United were trying to avoid giving Arsenal set-piece situations early on and any invitation to creep back into this encounter, well, after 1 minute and 10 seconds they've had a dead ball free kick, and now they've got a corner, which they're brilliant at.
Yeah, as I say, this is the last thing Newcastle needed. From Arsenal's point of view, they wanted to pin Newcastle back, and they've done exactly that. Declan Rice looking to whip an outswinger in.
4 at the back post. Gabriel just looking for a little bit of positioning. Dan Burn is watching him. Martinelli scoots towards the near post. It's a short set-piece routine. He dribbles the ball to the edge of the area, pokes it to the edge of the box, and then he's given it away, and a chance for Newcastle to counter-attack. And they move up towards the halfway line with Murphy. He's dragged Martinelli out, but he's still going, and then he's drawn a foul at the other end, and now it's a free kick to Newcastle United, 15 yards outside the box, and Martinelli, who has brought him down. I think that constitutes breaking up a promising attack.
I think Murphy knew exactly what he was doing personally. I think he's outrun him. He's sort of got across the front of him, and to be fair, I think he'll be delighted that he's relieved a bit of pressure on that back line. A little nudge and a little knock in the back. What I've got to say though, really disappointed Arsenal will not put that ball in the box, Sam.
Yeah, the short corner when they had a situation to really unsettle Newcastle early on. We played 2.5 minutes. You're listening to Talk Sport. Sam Motherface and Stuart Pearce at Newcastle United, St James's Park. Free kick on this left-hand side. We'll go off to commentary in just a second where there has been a goal, but we've got a free kick here in a dangerous area. Nicolas Joubert is just doing a little bit of aerobics on this near touchline, otherwise known as sorting out who's going to defend where. Comes back to Tonali from a short free kick. It's headed away, but only as far as Trippier, who plays it down the side of the penalty area, wide on the right. Bruno Guimaraes keeps it alive. Back to Trippier once again. Then to Shearer, who's going to put it into the box, but it's way heavy. He hit that far too hard. There's a bit of pushing inside the area from Isaac, so we'll go off to Jeff Peters at the commentary. Is it still the Rico? It's not, is it? It's the CBS Arena, isn't it, in Coventry?
It is, and Leeds are in front inside 16 minutes. Solomon with the pass. Joel Peru, 13th league goal of the season. Great control, thumping finish, terrific strike for the leaders. Leeds 1-0 up at Coventry.
Here is Gordon sending the ball over the top for Isaac to run onto. He's in behind the defence here, gets to the angle of the penalty. Right-footed, rifles it into the top of the net, and Newcastle United have a lead inside the first few minutes. Jason Tindall comes bursting out into the 6-yard box, away to our right, running down the touchline and celebrating. So do half the staff. Isaac goes over to the Leeds' end. He's surrounded by 5 Newcastle jerseys. Newcastle take a giant step towards Wembley very early in the game. Under McCosh inside the first 3.5 minutes, but they've broken away and scored, and Alexander Isak has his 15th goal in 14 games, and it's 3-0 on aggregate to Newcastle United, 1-0 on the night.
Well, the Arsenal players, they're hoping and looking for a potential offside. It's tight. We're looking at the replay, and I think, in my eye, I think he's just strayed off. His torso is just leaning forward. I've got to say, what a brilliant finish, though, Sam. And this tie, let alone this game, could be hinging on this decision.
Well, of course, tonight we also have that small matter of the referee announcing the decision live inside the stadium. So VAR, John Brooks back at Stockley Park, looking to see whether or not Alexander Isak was offside from the initial ball played from the halfway line. Jason Tindall went absolutely mad, onto his knees, then ran down the touchline. Eddie Howe, even he cheered, and he usually keeps calm. So how long is this going to take before they decide whether or not it is offside? It is incredibly tight. It does look as if Isak from our monitor is just slightly ahead of the last defender, and it is very, very, very tight.
Yeah, for me, I think he's just edging forward. I've got the finish though was absolutely sublime.
Outstanding.
He whipped it past the goalkeeper before he could move into the far roof of the net. Brilliant finish. Isak can do no more.
And it was a brilliant finish from Isak. The nerves jangling all around the stadium. There's boos and howls of derision at the time it's taken. But this is a big decision. They've got to get it right at Stockley Park, because if it's 3-0 at this stage, then Newcastle have got 1 foot and 4 toes at Wembley. It's been chalked off. The VAR is about to tell us what the situation is via the referee. What he said there was the goal scorer, number 14, was in an offside position when the ball was played, and therefore the goal has been chalked off. Now, I know that we probably knew that because we were sitting inside the stadium, but if you're in the stadium and don't have the benefit of the television monitors, you might not know that, which is why they're announcing these decisions, Stuart.
Yeah, well, there's a clamour from the fans to have more clarity. That's what they've got.
Well, it is back to 0-0, and that moment that could have been historic has now been chalked off, but it does just show, I think, Newcastle's threat on the counter-attack, Stuart.
Well, it does. It was a wonderful ball in behind the back line. Isak trying to get back onside. He was in the starting position, if you like all good strikers, just leaning forward into it, and that's what called him offside. But from a mental point of view, I think Arsenal having the back of their net hit this early on will hurt them.
Well, they've got a set piece over on the far side, and now eventually are going to be able to take it. They're taking their time over it. There was a bit of fiddling going on over on that far side. Everybody in this side of this stadium is literally on tenterhooks. Newcastle looking to move a step closer to their first trophy in 56 years. Arsenal looking to win the League Cups for the first time since 1993. They've got to come from 2-0 down to do so, because that was the score in the first leg. Here is Rice over on the far side, playing the ball short again and getting it out towards Trossard. They then win another corner kick, do they, over on the far side? Or is it a throw-in down by the corner flag? Somehow it's gone out for a throw-in, and the Newcastle players happy with that, the Arsenal fans not. Everyone looks a little bit on edge here.
Oh, it's no doubt about that. Even we are, and we haven't got a dog in the fight.
Ball thrown in towards the near post. It's a poor throw. It goes straight out of play.
Yeah, so far we've seen some nervous decisions by players. A player throwing the ball straight out of play is one of them. Gordon pulling back at one end. Isak pulling players back at the other. Opportunities to put the ball in the box being turned down, and I think that's going to be the order of the evening.
Well, there have been 31 cases of a team losing the first leg of a League Cup semi-final at home. Only 2 have progressed to the final. But the last to do it, Arsenal in 1987. Ball cleared by Dubravka, upfield. Saliba away, towards the halfway line. It's sent back down towards this near side, and then it's cleared away by Dan Burn. Dan Burn sends it into the channel. Gordon thinks he's been fouled. He has been fouled. Simon Hooper says that Thomas Partey dragged him to the ground, and there's going to be a free kick just in from the touchline.
We were talking before the game whether this is a 4 or a 5. I think it's looking more like a 5, isn't it?
Yes, I mentioned that as they kicked off. Lewis Hall looked to me as if he was tucking in as a left wing back, Stuart. I think that definitely is the case. He's out on this near touchline. He's going to take this set piece now. And he, again, I think we're both a little bit surprised that they keep trying to take short set pieces, both of them, bearing in mind how physically powerful both sets of players are.
Yeah, the nervousness of the occasion. Put the ball in the opposition's box, make them deal with it.
Hall in towards Cher, heads it down, hits the arm of Timber. Certainly, I think he was close to his body there, so it was inside the natural silhouette, and Arsenal managed to get it clear up to the halfway line. They dropped because they feared a long ball forward by Dubravka. The Newcastle players moved back into their relative positions. Lewis Skelly won it on the far side. It went out for a throw-in, and Newcastle have it in the right full-back position. There's a febrile atmosphere inside this stadium.
And it's what makes English football so good, Sam. Occasions like tonight.
Well, Arsenal will certainly want an early goal. Alexander Isak thought he'd got an early goal. Newcastle will be determined to try and ensure they keep Arsenal at bay for as long as possible. 11 minutes gone. Everyone was on their feet when that goal was seemingly scored by Isak, but then it was quickly ruled out for offside. Lewis Skelly back to Gabriel, who's caught by Isak, the assistant on the far side. Simon Long very quick with his flag, and a free kick is given just left of the penalty area inside Arsenal territory. They try to take it quickly. Simon Hooper says go back and take it again. And look at Lewis Hall now, though, Stuart. He's just gone into a more central position to keep an eye on Urian Timber. It's almost as if he's man for man with Urian Timber. Yeah,
it is. The good thing is he's got Dan Burn behind him, and Dan Burn's used to going into these wide areas and filling in that left-back berth.
Mistake by Saliba, and he's misplaced his clearance back, and then the swipe from Raya, who came to the edge of the area, was miskicked, and Gordon is chasing it down, and now Jurrien Timber's just fallen over. The free kick has been given. Mikel Arteta thinks it should be a yellow card for Gordon. He's come down the touchline, he's screaming at Simon Hooper, and Eddie Howe doesn't think it's a foul. Ball played back by Declan Rice. It almost went out for a corner. They're being unsettled by the Newcastle press here, who are getting right in their faces. Throwing down by the corner flag, off to Peterborough in just a second. It's 0-0 here. And what a vibrant start to the game we've had inside 12 minutes. It's been absolutely edge of your seat stuff, as we thought it would be. Here is Hall left side, into the centre, looking for Isaac. Turns it round the corner. Tonali tries to feed Bruno Guimaraes. He didn't get there, and Arsenal look a little bit unsettled so far, giving cheap ball away and not retaining possession with the kind of poise that they showed on Sunday afternoon. Goal at Peterborough. Nikash Rugani is there for us.
Yeah, and an equaliser for Peterborough. It all came from Malik Mothersill, the substitute, down the left-hand side, charging run into the area. His shot was parried by the Cheltenham keeper, and it was Abraham Odo who got to the rebound from close range. Peterborough 2, Cheltenham 2.
Another goal at the CBS, Jeff Peters.
Leeds now 2-0 up against Coventry. Jayden Bogle with a simple tap-in. Horrendous defending. Goalkeeper Oliver Dovin at fault as well. Bogle's fourth of the season. Coventry 0, Leeds 2.
Havertz just made a great run, but Timber didn't pick him out. It's Trossard instead down the right side with a cross which is deflected away by first Botman and then by Byrne, but they've given it straight back to Arsenal, edge of the penalty area. Arsenal coming forward here with Partey trying to move up towards the edge of the box. There's two lines of four for him to try and break through as the ball goes into the area. Botman helps it into the arms of the goalkeeper, and Newcastle ride out that storm. It remains 0-0. 13 and a half breathless minutes have been played.
It's an incredible game. The intensity of this atmosphere here, the referee's under intense pressure, the players going down cheaply on occasion, poor decisions by certain players. It's all adding to the mix.
Yeah, it's all kicking off, isn't it? I can't remember where Coventry play, can't remember the reporter's name. Nightmare. It's messing with your mind. It's been an intense, and I do feel like everyone's on top of us today here. It does feel like everyone's getting closer and closer to the pitch every time something happens. Do you know what I mean? It feels like the whole stadium is swaying in unison as they try and roar Newcastle to Wembley Stadium. And Arsenal got to ride this out, Stuart.
They certainly have. And at this moment in time, Newcastle pressing very aggressively.
And they've won it back again. And Bruno Guimaraes has sent Gordon out on the left-hand side. He tries to trick his way into the area, but Odegaard comes across and manages to step across Gordon and win the ball back for Arsenal, who try to show a little bit of poise now and come forward. But Lewis Hall gets there ahead of Havertz, and it's turned over again, and Botman looks up. Where's he going to play the ball now? Out towards the right side, and Trippier. He takes it down, pushes it forward into an advanced position. Murphy on the overlap, Bruno Guimaraes on the angle of the area, back to Murphy again, a chance to cross into the box. It's a deep one, it's going to miss everybody, but sent back into the side netting by Gordon from a tight angle. Actually it was Lewis Hall peeled away and got on the end of that, and he rifled that back across the face of goal, but into the side netting, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left. 15 gone, 0-0.
Yeah, you're thinking if a goal's coming by anybody at this moment in time, it's going to come from a mistake or a very, very aggressive press. And we're looking at Newcastle, they've gone man for man with Arsenal on this goal kick.
Yeah, something that Bournemouth did to them the other week when we were here, and they struggled with it, and now they're trying to do the same to Arsenal. Oh, Dubravka almost got caught with the ball at his feet after being pressed by Trossard, and that mistake that you talked about almost materialised in front of the Newcastle goal, and then Saliba sent it back to Raya, and he played it the wrong side of him, and he had to juggle quickly back into his 18-yard box just to try and stop it from going past him and into a zone which could have been dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly is. A real good tactical appreciation from both managers. Newcastle stepping in, going man for man. Arsenal have got to attempt to find the space in that midfield. Arteta just talking to Odegaard at the moment in regard to tactical line-up and tactical approach.
Newcastle had a few chances in the first half against Fulham, and they should have really furthered their lead. They came back into the game, the Cottagers, after half-time, but all thoughts of their failings from the weekend must be banished. Eddie Howe was insistent that instead of nerves tonight, his team should feel excitement and thrive off the atmosphere that the Newcastle supporters have created here. Inside the dressing room, inside the camp, Newcastle see this as a great opportunity. 2-0 up, cup final in sight. Maybe if you were speaking to some Toon fans before the game, there was a bit of anxiety, but they needed to make it a cauldron tonight, and that's exactly what they've done. 17 gone, Newcastle 0, Arsenal 0, live on TalkSport and around the world as well. Tonight, if you're listening in North America, a big hello to you, wherever you are across that continent. Welcome to listeners of Sirius XMFC. Ball kicked clear over the halfway line, chested down by Havertz, away by Tonali, but it's fallen straight for Ødegaard, who's midway inside the Newcastle half, just slightly right of centre, comes into the middle and finds Declan Rice. It's worked wide out to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly on the outside tries to take on Trippier. He bundled his way into the box and gave it to Trossard, who's just trying to turn away from Bruno Guimaraes, sets it back into the centre of the Newcastle half, where Saliba is joining the attack. Down the right side they attack now, a little switch of position for Jurrien Timber, a ball down the right corridor from Trossard to Ødegaard, then back to Ødegaard again. He strikes and it's blocked by Botman. Brilliant tackle on the edge of the area after a really good Arsenal move.
Yeah, brilliant move there. Intricate passing on this right-hand side of the box. And Ødegaard, clever play, give and go. You don't get tracked by your runners.
Here is Martinelli, edge of the area. Slide tackle comes in, but Ødegaard is free and he's shot wide from inside the box. What a chance for Arsenal to get back in the game. Well, it came through to Martinelli. He felt he was fouled on the edge of the D. The tackle coming in from Fabian Schär, I think. And then, or was it Dan Burn? And then the ball spilt out towards this near side. And it came to Ødegaard. It was Burn with the tackle. Ødegaard struck it and missed the target. He's hit the outside of the post.
Well, I was only saying to Aid before about the talent in front of goal, shooting-wise, from free kicks and from open play. That was a wonderful opportunity for Ødegaard. He's struck across the ball. You can see the rotation of the ball, taking it away from the goal, and he's cannoned off the outside of the post.
So after 3 minutes we had an offside goal from Alexander Isak, and he's in behind again here, beaten towards the near post, hits the post, comes back to Murphy, squeezes it in. Isak went running away behind the Arsenal back line. He smacked the post, it came back out at a really awkward angle. But Jacob Murphy was there on the edge of the 6-yard box to tuck it home, and they're not chalking that one off. It's 1-0 Newcastle, 3-0 on aggregate, and the breakaway goal has happened. This time it's going to count.
Well, you talk about the importance of finishing and the technique of finishing. Ødegaard's hit across one literally seconds before, and then Isak's gone in, goalkeeper bearing down, and all of a sudden, brilliant finish, but it's cannoned off the post. And then from that, Murphy's done brilliantly, following in, got his body around it, hit it. I think he's hit the near post as well, but it's had enough on it to find the back of the net. And Newcastle extend their lead.
It's 3-0 on aggregate to Newcastle United, who take a giant step towards Wembley Way. The ball over the top, played in towards Isak, who went careering through. He hit the inside of the post. It came back out to the edge of the 6-yard box, the corner of the 6-yard box on the right side. Following him was Murphy, and he tucked it home. And Murphy gets his 5th goal of the season. He might not get a more important one than that. Newcastle lead by a goal to 0. And that is only going to turn up the temperature inside this stadium. Arsenal have to score 3 goals before the 90-minute mark just to force extra time. Ball into the centre. From the right side by Martinelli. It's over the head of everyone. Lewis Skelly recovers it, takes it to the edge of the box. Partey, Ødegaard, just missed a really big opportunity, and they've won it, and now they spring once again on the counter-attack. Newcastle running at speed over the halfway line. Tonali feeds it out to Gordon. Gordon inside the box. He tries to get across Saliba, who does well enough just to edge him off the ball. Excellent defending by Saliba. And Arsenal look to go at the other end. It's going to be end-to-end stuff, Stuart, now.
It certainly is. This has not quelled Arsenal's appetite to turn this tie round, by the way. They're still fully at it, and there's plenty of football to go tonight, Sam.
There is. We've only played 22 minutes. It's been brilliant. Here's Odegaard edging the penalty area, getting onto his left foot, drilling it down towards the near post. It's narrowly wide of the upright, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick, and that just maybe will settle things down for a couple of moments. And Bruno Guimaraes just going over to Dan Burn and just trying just to take the noise down a little bit and the feeling down a little bit, because it's been absolute bedlam inside this stadium, and that was only enhanced by that goal from Jacob Murphy.
You've got to say, sometimes you turn up to games and the tactical side of it doesn't jump out at you. This game, you can tell the intricacies that both managers have put into their teams. The tactical approach from both teams is brilliant to watch pan out.
Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0, 3-0 on the night. 1-0 on the night, 3-0 in aggregate to Newcastle. Ball sent towards the wide right position. Jurrien Timber on to Martinelli. Martinelli now trying to go on the outside of Byrne. Looks to push the ball through his legs. He's held his ground there. It ran through to Lewis Hall, who from the left full-back position will take it wide. He'll clear it, but he gives it back to Odegaard. Then Havertz through the centre onto Trossard, who shoots it, saved by Dubravka and spooned behind by Botman, and it's out for a corner kick to Arsenal. Well, that was another chance.
Well, it certainly was. Odegaard's hit the outside of the post. Now Trossard's got in there. Great effort, nice and low. Good save by Dubravka, though. And Arsenal are creating chances. They need to take one sooner rather than later, though.
1-0 to Newcastle. Corner kick on the near side. Odegaard's going to take it. He's got Partey at the back post. And Timber making a dart towards the near post now. He sends it in towards that near post area. It's headed away by Trippier, and it's out for another corner, the second successive corner. Odegaard having a chance at one end, and then straight away Isak hitting a post, came out to Murphy. He converted it. 1-0 Newcastle. You've got to take your chances when they come. We mentioned that the other night, about the ruthlessness of finishing when we were down at the City Ground, Nottingham, Stuart and I, and we saw that in full flow. Well, Newcastle have been ruthless so far tonight. Arsenal have been wasteful. Ball in towards the near post, headed away by Botman, who took charge of that set piece, headed behind and straight out after an in-swinging corner that was really dangerous from Odegaard.
I've got to say, the quality of Odegaard's two corners there, he's just clipping it in with plenty of kill, and it's just fading just at that near post. Goalkeeper can't come for it. In fact, he's tried to come for it. Now he's down on his haunches, getting a little bit of treatment. But certainly that's a real problem. Any touch, that's a goal. Well, would you say at this moment, Sam, the difference between the two sides, Isak, the centre forward?
Yeah, I think he's... Listen, I know that he is not necessarily... I think we'll come there in just a second. Here's the corner from Odegaard, straight in towards the near post. It's flicked on, it's loose inside the area, and it's cleared away. And then they're on the charge again here. A little push by Gordon on Miles Lewis-Skelly. And the free kick is going to be taken just in front of the centre circle. They wanted to take it quickly. Simon Hooper won't let them do that. That was a chance of a breakaway. Was that an unnecessary push from Gordon for you?
That was ridiculous, to be fair. He's got the defender out of jail. He really has. It's a race. It's one-on-one. And he's just pushed his man over, and Arsenal near enough. Oh, had a quick attack on the back of it. I've got to say, those Odegaard corners, 3 in succession, are causing a big problem for Newcastle.
Deadly, absolutely deadly. As has been the prowess of Alexander Isak, who's finished one chance ruthlessly, but was adjudged to have been in an offside position, and has created the opening goal tonight for Murphy. Here is Odegaard down the right-hand side. Of course, they're looking at Isak, have been looking at Isak, Arsenal. Here on the edge of the area is Odegaard, whose left-footed cross is deep towards Gabriel, who heads it down but into the side netting because he's well wide of goal. Good defending by Newcastle United.
Yeah, as I say, Gabriel just coming round the back door there. He just rose at the far post, but the angle too tight for him, and Dubravka's gone down again. So I don't know whether this one's for Nick Pope
Well, Nick Pope on the bench. Remember his Carabao Cup story from the other season when he was sent off in a league game against Liverpool, and it meant that he missed the Carabao Cup final. And Dubravka had already been cup-tied because he'd played in the Carabao Cup for Manchester United on loan in the first half of the season, went back to Newcastle for the second half of the season, but couldn't play in the Carabao Cup final. So, making his debut after, I think, 18 months at the football club, in the final was Loris Karius.
I think at the moment, Newcastle are happy to break the momentum of this game, even though they set the momentum and were playing fantastically well within that.
We'll go back to that Isaac discussion. What have you made of him? Because I know that you thought he's not tidy enough outside the area, but he's very tidy in it.
Well, he certainly has, and he's finishing. I mean, if those two efforts are anything to go by, wonderful finishes, no doubt. One chalked off, one created the goal, but I just think his hold-up play on occasion can be slightly better.
Well, how old is he? He's 25 years of age. He's got 14 goals in his last 13 games before today. 5 assists as well. Scored twice against Arsenal already this season. And he has got a habit of going on these streaks of scoring a lot of goals. He got 12 in his first 12 in the Eredivisie when he was playing in Holland. He holds the record for Real Sociedad for scoring in consecutive games. He is, at the moment, a big noise in striker world where there aren't too many number 9s.
Sam, he's probably the biggest noise, it's fair to say. And tonight certainly added to that.
1-0 to Newcastle. Jacob Murphy with a goal made by Isaac. A little touch through the legs of Byrne by Martinelli. Into Urian Timber on the right side. A chance for Martinelli to get down towards the byline and produce a cross for Arsenal, who need a goal and need one quick. Martinelli trying to take on Lewis Hall. He gets towards the right-hand side of the area, tries to go on the outside of Hall, but he stood his ground brilliantly there, Lewis Hall. Blocked the cross and it goes out for a throw-in.
Yeah, he did. As I say, the biggest thing for Newcastle at the moment, they've knocked off near enough half hour of this game, give or take, and they've extended their lead. They'll be delighted with that.
An hour to go, and Arsenal need 3 goals. Martinelli sends it long through the penalty area from the right-hand side, away by Trippier, picked up by Miles Lewis-Skelly over on the far side. He sends it infield. Rice has it, rolls his studs over the ball, and it goes back into midfield. Saliba immediately rushed by Gordon. He evades him, comes forward into a central position. On the right side of the box, Ødegaard takes over now. He pushes it into the path of Martinelli. Then it's into Lewis, into Partey, then back to Urian Timber, then back to Martinelli, who miscontrols it because it was just played with a little bit too much force by Timber, and that goes out of play and out for a throw on this near side. Newcastle have been really good so far, just holding their shape well. They have conceded a couple of opportunities, Stuart, and Arsenal haven't taken them, but if it continues like this, they're taking big steps when it comes to getting to Wembley for a second time in 3 seasons.
Yeah, and what's been important, when they haven't crowded Ødegaard out in this inside right position, they paid the penalty, but as of recent minutes they've certainly done that.
Let's go off to Peterborough, Nikesh Rugani,
where Peterborough now lead Cheltenham by 3 goals to 2. Ricky J. Jones with a brilliant individual run into the area, tight angle, slotted past the keeper. They've turned it around. It's Peterborough 3, Cheltenham 2.
Back here it is Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. You're listening to Talk Sport and Sirius XM FC in the United States of America. Chelsea 2, West Ham 0 in the League Cup semi-finals. Over on TalkSport 2, Peterborough 3-2 up in the EFL Trophy. Coventry 2-0 down to Leeds after a really good run on the Frank Lampard, and Celtic lead Dundee by a goal to 0. Newcastle lead by a goal to 0 here. Jacob Murphy after 19 minutes, and they're on the hunt again here, having pinched the ball inside their own half, and Murphy is away down that right side. Gabriel goes across and tries to shut off his route into the right wing position, then goes down, wins the foul over on the far side. And it's away for a free kick in the left full-back position for Arsenal.
I've got to say, when a player goes into his defending corner flag, he's only got one thing on his mind: plant my feet, fall over for a free kick. And if you're stupid enough to keep putting pressure on his back and letting him get out, more for you.
Well, it was Trippier actually came round the blind side of Murphy and went a little bit more forcefully into Gabriel. Gabriel went down under pressure from Trippier, who then they had a little bit of an exchange, very similar to the one that Gabriel had with Haaland at the weekend. Here is Hall tipping it over the top again. Goalkeeper coming out a long way, and that ball bounced awkwardly for him, but he managed to shepherd it out towards the near touchline. Havertz then hooks it over his head from just on the halfway line. Chasing it down was Martinelli in the right wing position, but Botman comes across and nudges it out on the near side. Just got to have a word for Botman, because this is a guy who came off at half-time in that game with Bournemouth, hasn't been seen since, and he's come out tonight and he's looked at home again in the centre of defence. Here's Odegaard trying to get into the box, pinched by Bruno Guimaraes, and it's cleared away up into the midpoint of the Newcastle half. Gordon does well to keep it in, he does brilliantly in fact, then holds on to possession when he could have lost it and then does lose it, and Jurrien Timber then plays it centrally for Trossard. A little dab to Rice, edge of the centre circle, moves into Newcastle territory, plays it wide, right, Odegaard, then on to Martinelli, continues the run, gets into the box on his left foot, plays a low ball into the near post, cut out by Byrne, and then away by Gordon towards the halfway line.
Yeah, Lewis Skelly's getting forward extremely well, and Murphy's got to make sure he tracks that run. He can't switch off.
Newcastle won it and then gave it away, and still the pressure comes from the from the away team. Odegaard, midway inside opposition territory, looking for Havertz, who goes down under pressure from Botman, who marshals him, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Well, Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta certainly talked a good game yesterday. He talked about the emotional state of the team and the way that that had changed from the defeat in the first leg of this tie to Sunday's match against Manchester City. But the emotional state of Arsenal now is really important, isn't it? Keeping their cool.
Yeah, that's really big. Keep your cool, play with your head, keep the intensity of what you're trying to achieve. And when those chances come, which they haven't been able to do, you have to take them. The Odegaard chance was a very, very good one.
They are the second highest scorers in the Premier League this season. They're capable of turning teams over. They've scored 3 or more goals in a match 13 times this season. They haven't scored here tonight. They need to. Miles Lewis-Skelly over on the far side, a yard in from the touchline, moving the ball up towards the halfway line. 1-0 to Newcastle, 3-0 on aggregate. The winner goes to the Wembley final on March 16th, live on TalkSport. Here is Gabriel, then on to Trossard, wide left, tight to the touchline, into the box looking for the Arsenal midfielder in Declan Rice. Rice loses possession, the ball breaks to halfway, Isak picks it up, plays it left, and it's just a little bit too far in front of Gordon. It's driven him wide, but he's got hold of it, and they're on the attack, Newcastle, in those black and white jerseys, attacking the penalty area way to our left. He moves laterally across the 18-yard line, goes down under pressure from Jurrien Timber. Tonali takes over on this near side. Tonali trying to get the better of Timber, who's holding him. Gordon round the corner to Bruno Guimaraes, a little juggle, and then he plays it back towards Tonali. They almost gave the ball away when they were showboating, and they've won a throw-in down by the corner flag away to our left-hand side, and Bruno gets a cheer from the Toon public, who rather like that.
Yeah, that attack was started. Saliba couldn't win the header against Isak, and on the halfway line, if you're one-on-one, the last thing you can do is let him get his own flick off.
Dan Burn was just about to walk over and have a word with Simon Hooper as Odegaard gave another free kick away.
I think I'm just seeing a message here. I think it's Martinelli holding his hamstring.
Yeah.
I may be wrong. I think there's a substitution going to be made.
Yeah, they're looking at it. Nwaneri is just being called back by a member of the coaching staff. Looks like he's going to have to get ready to come on here. Ethan Nwaneri, the 17-year-old. Can he come up with some rescue act? It would have to be. Here is Hall, delivers the ball towards the far post. Oh, it bounced down for Cher, who tried to get contact on it, couldn't quite connect with it. It looks as if that went out for a corner, and it didn't. It goes out for a goal kick, and immediately they try to slide it upfield towards Lewis-Skelly, and they've done it successfully. When it looked like Murphy was going to pinch it, it's played forward into the left channel. Havertz now on the attack, sends the ball into the box, a poor one, and it'll go right out the other side of the way for a throw on this near touchline. It's still 1-0.
got to say, Sam, you end up attempting to watch a replay of an incident, and all of a sudden the ball's entering the box at the other end of the pitch.
Yeah, well, Martinelli is down inside the penalty area, away to our right-hand side. And bearing in mind they didn't get any attacking replacements in the January transfer window, and Mikel Arteta has already bemoaned the fact that they don't have too many resources in that department. They're going to have to bring off Gabriel Martinelli here with what looks like a hamstring injury and replace him with Ethan Nwaneri.
Well, I don't understand why Martinelli's decided to lie down on the 6-yard box. He's 6 metres away from getting off the pitch and getting this sub on and keeping the momentum Arsenal need. I mean, he's getting treatment there, but you know full well he's going to have to leave the pitch.
Well, that's the first sub of the night. Nwaneri, who scored his first goal in the Champions League last Wednesday night, scored a cracker against Manchester City at the weekend, has 7 goals already this season, and actually is in exalted company when it comes to goal scoring. His goal on Sunday was his 7th in all competitions for Arsenal. Only Rooney and Michael Owen have scored more times for a Premier League side while aged 17 or younger than him. He's got another 6 weeks or so to add to that tally before his 18th birthday. Half-time at Coventry, Jeff Peters.
Leeds 2-0 up, could easily be out of sight. Joel Peru with a clinical finish early on, thumping home his 13th of the season. Dreadful defending for the second. Jayden Bogle into the box, the keeper spilled the ball, Bogle rolled it in. Coventry 2 down, they've been poor. Leeds going 5 clear at the top.
Yep. And Leeds United on a fantastic unbeaten run at the moment, and I'm sure we'll focus on them a few more times in our EFL coverage as we go on through the season. Havertz goes down the right-hand side, trying to get towards the angle of the penalty area and then into the 6-yard box, where across comes Dubravka. Good defending again by Botman there, just edging him off the ball. And Martinelli gets a hug from Mikel Arteta, and he's definitely got a problem here. And it's meant an early end to his encounter at St James's Park. It's the last thing that Arsenal need, really, isn't it, Stuart? Especially when they're not only trying to win this competition but the Champions League and the title as well.
Oh, certainly. As I say, I think the impact tonight is going to be big. But as you say, Nwaneri, his goal-scoring prowess at a young age might give Arsenal a lift.
Here is Trossard far side, about a yard in from the touchline. We've got 6.5 minutes to go before half-time, and it is Newcastle who lead by a goal to nil, live on TalkSport and Sirius XM FC. Tomorrow morning, Alan Brazil back on breakfast with Gabby Agbonlahor, waking you up with all the reaction from tonight's game and the day's big stories. If you want to get involved, the usual numbers will apply. And they've got Chris Davis on tomorrow. The Birmingham City manager is joining them at some point during the breakfast show. Here on the right-hand side, Nwaneri producing a cross. It's blocked by Lewis Hall, who's done brilliantly again. It flicks away from Tonali, and then Gordon tries to play it forward, but across comes Saliba to shut off any route for a counter-attack, and then Timber just makes a bit of an error on this near side. And that's happened a couple of times, actually, just Arsenal players making little errors, and every time they do, the Newcastle crowd pounce upon it and raise the volume again and just increase the level of intensity. It is like walking into a Colosseum when you're an away player, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is here, and Arsenal are operating under pressure. They know the scoreline, they're aware of that, and they've got to find a way of breaking this Newcastle 11-man defence on occasion.
Well, Newcastle are 3-0 up on aggregate, which means that they can afford to just sit back and defend. Here's Nwaneri trying to get into the penalty area. He goes on the outside of Lewis Hall, gets the crossing but overhits it, goes well wide, and it's out for a goal kick to Newcastle United. Kieran Trippier. You're going to see more of this, I'm afraid. And I think the Arsenal website tried to preempt it earlier on today with the idea of using all of the tactics necessary in order to make life uncomfortable for Arsenal. They will take their time over these dead ball situations now, Stuart.
Yeah, they certainly will, and they've earned the right to, and as long as they do it within the laws of the game. Just looking at Botman there, as he's played very, very well this first half, hasn't he? He's sensible defending.
It's amazing. The guy's been out for nearly a year. This is his 5th game back after injury. He had to be taken off against Bournemouth just to preserve him, really. They haven't used him since. They've targeted this game to get him back ready for. He's come in, and he's looked perfectly at home. He's a terrific defender anyway, really. I mean, it was such a shame that he missed so much football with his ACL injury last season. But he's a warrior as well. And he's back in the team at the heart of the defence again today. And he's been brilliant so far. Newcastle lead, 0-0. Goal scored by Jacob Murphy after 19 minutes. Here's Nwaneri, who's come off the bench to replace Martinelli, who's injured for Arsenal. Nwaneri again, trying to get the better of Gordon, into Timber. Timber back to Odegaard, and then he plays it centrally into Gabriel, who's just in front of the centre circle. He moves forward, plays it left. It's taken on by Rice. Rice now helping it wide, where it's collected by Trossard. Trossard tries to get into the box. He can't do so, and then Bruno Guimaraes prevents a corner and gives it to Trippier, and they're playing around with it inside their own penalty area here, Newcastle, and the fans want them to get it away. There's a few olays, and then Havertz goes wiring into Bruno Guimaraes, and then Trippier goes over and moves Havertz away. There's a little bit of argy-bargy going on. Cher intervenes. The yellow card comes out for Kai Havertz.
As you say, it was one of those, Guimaraes, he's clever. He sees Havertz going towards the ball, he steps his body across it and just uses his body as the shield. Havertz can't stop his momentum at that stage. And what you've got to do, you've got to keep that emotion. If you're an Arsenal player, keep that emotion intact.
I'm just watching Leandro Trossard trying to argue with Fabian Cher and Dan Burn. Now, that was a bit of a physical mismatch, I'm going to say. Dan Burn is over 2 metres tall. Fabian Cher is nearly there. And Leandro Trossard is nowhere near.
Yeah. It's a mismatch. It's a bit like you taking aid on. It's just a mismatch.
Yeah, I'm sitting there looking up. Yeah, he's waving his little trophy at me.
He's a super heavy, mate. Don't worry about it in more ways than one.
Ball sent out towards the far side, headed out by Miles Lewis-Skelly. We've got 2 minutes to go before half-time. After what has been an energetic, entertaining and sometimes mad first 45 minutes, Stuart.
Oh, it's flown by. That is normally a mark of a very, very good game. And to be honest with you, Newcastle will be delighted if they can go in 3-0. But you always get the impression if Arsenal got one back...
Well, Saliba certainly held back Gordon there, as Gordon was threatening to get in behind the defence. The ball was played down the left touchline, and he was trying to get away from Saliba, and Saliba was using his arms to pull him back. That is breaking up a promising attack, and he's the second Arsenal player to go in the book as a result of it, and it's another free kick to Newcastle.
Yeah, there's been about 3 or 4 balls behind the back line, resulting in a goal and one chalked out that Arsenal were struggling to deal with. They really are. And Saliba got done there. Just a little spin by Gordon absolutely ruined him.
Well, the 4,833 Arsenal fans high up in the Leazes stand came here hoping for what they believe to be the incoming stunning comeback. That hasn't materialised so far. And their lead, or their deficit, has been increased here. It's now 3-0 on aggregate. The free kick floated in and then cleared by Arsenal. It bounces loose in midfield. Trossard gets it, tries to release Havertz. Dan Burn goes sliding across the turf. And what a rise he's had after being released here initially as a kid, going off to work in Asda, picking up trolleys, playing for Darlington, going off to Wigan, ending up at Brighton, coming back playing in the Champions League, and now big semi-finals for his hometown club. Here is Nwaneri down the right side, skating away from Gordon, trying to get away from Lewis-Skelly in towards Havertz. Good defending again by Botman.
I'll tell you what, they've done brilliantly, Newcastle. They've got numbers back behind the ball and suffocated areas that might be vulnerable by Arsenal.
The fourth official has put up the board for added time at the end of the first half. He's added 5, and we're delighted, because there's 5 more minutes of this cracking entertainment that we've seen in this first half. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. Here's Havertz trying to combine with Rice, but Rice couldn't get it through to him. So Bruno Guimaraes picked it up, played it through to Isak, gets it a halfway. Now Gordon goes up. Isak made a run, but he couldn't squeeze it to him. He skipped past Rice. Gordon brilliantly gets to the edge of the area. Gordon trying to bend it, far corner. doesn't get enough whip on it to bring it back infield. Raya was interested though, and as he cut in on his right foot to try and take that shot on, he opened up his body and arced it to the far corner. Raya went across because he was worried it was going to sneak in.
Yeah, not enough curl on that to bring it inside the far post. Declan Rice went to ground with a long lunging challenge and limped away from the occasion.
That's the last thing they need after losing Martinelli, is for him to have picked up an injury here. 3-0 on aggregate, 1-0 on the night. We played 1 of 5 added at the end of the first half. Newcastle United in charge and heading to Wembley. Arsenal going to be frustrated again. They haven't won the League Cup since 1993. Here is Lewis Skelly. Good challenge that by Trippier, who spotted the runner Havertz down the inside left channel. Now they've cleared it again, and Gordon's stuck out on this left-hand side, and he's running towards the edge of the area. He's got Saliba in front of him. He goes on the outside, tries to drive the ball goalwards, but he hits it against Saliba. It goes out for a corner late on in the first half.
Brilliant ball by Tonali there. Once again, that ball over Arsenal's back line, causing them a problem. Gordon trying to come inside, Saliba having none of it, said you can go on the outside, and he just marshalled the shot. But Newcastle will be delighted, got a corner in these last few minutes.
Isaac has had one disallowed, hit the post which led to the first goal from Jacob Murphy, and now they have a set piece in injury time at the end of this first half. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. Here is the corner in front of the Lees' end, taken by Trippier. It's an in-swinger, flicked into the air by Havertz, drops down by Botman and heads it goalwards. It's cleared by Havertz out towards the near side. Trippier chases it, gets it back to Lewis Hall, who should see this back to Dubravka. He does, deep inside his own half. He wants to send it long. He sends it out towards the near side, and Timber will allow it to go out and away for a throw-in. Newcastle last reached the League Cup final 2 years ago. Their first visit since '99. They want to have that feeling again. And what an achievement it would be for Eddie Howe, who took over when they were battling relegation, has already led them to a cup final and a place in the Champions League. And it will be a major feather in his cap if he manages to get the better of Arsenal again tonight.
I think he set up his team brilliantly. It raised an eyebrow in my eyes about this back five, but it's worked brilliantly, and they've suffocated Arsenal in the advanced areas.
Throw in far side for Arsenal to try and get themselves going before the break. How they would love a goal before the referee blew his half-time whistle. Back to Saliba. There's 2 balls on the pitch here. Simon Hooper just instructing Trossard to kick one off. He's done that. And a drop ball for Arsenal, who were in possession just in front of the centre circle left-hand side. Played out to Gabriel. Gabriel, tall and lean, guides it back to Saliba, who's a little bit more muscular. Plays it into the thicker set Timber, and then on to Odegaard, the captain, the Norwegian. Great manipulation of the ball. Plays it infield to Partey. Partey back to Odegaard, edge of the area, feeds Nwaneri down towards the byline. Byrne again with a well-timed challenge, sliding in, poking it out. It's away for a throw-in down by the corner flag.
Where Newcastle have done brilliantly, if you stop the action anywhere in critical areas, they've always got an extra player. On this occasion it was 3 Arsenal players, but you know full well there's going to be 4 Newcastle defenders in and around them.
Well, that was a foul throw from Timber on this near touchline. He got away with it, and he has another one. Again down by the corner flag. The Newcastle voices are the ones you can hear inside this famous old stadium. And it'll be thrown in by Timber. In towards Rice. Rice back to Timber. Then on to Partey. Away by Tonali. Tonali tries to get it into the middle of the park, and Lewis Skelly stops Trippier from escaping. Trippier harassing him. Lewis Skelly does brilliantly. He's sandwiched by Bruno Guimaraes and Murphy, but there won't be any chance to take the free kick because Simon Hooper has blown the half-time whistle. Well, thanks to Jacob Murphy, and in no small part to Alexander Isak. Newcastle United are 45 minutes away from a second Wembley Cup final in 3 years. Eddie Howe urged his players to create a legacy by reaching that Carabao Cup final at Arsenal's expense, and they look for all the world as if they're going to do that. It is the anniversary of a big comeback, but surely Surely it's beyond Arsenal tonight, isn't it? Oh, we'll find out in the second half. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0, 3-0 to the Toon on aggregate. Well, Newcastle United are looking to move a step closer to a first trophy in 56 years. And although there have been 32 incidences of a side losing the first leg of a League Cup semi-final by 2 goals or more, Arsenal will know that only one of those have progressed to the final. Aston Villa overturned a 3-1 first leg deficit against Tranmere in 93-94, but that is it. They're going to have to make history to stop Newcastle United from going through to a Wembley Cup final for the second time in 3 years. They've been a bit of a bogey team for Arsenal as well. Not that Mikel Arteta knew exactly what that word meant when he was put to him yesterday. And they have won 3 of the last 4 against the Gunners, and they're winning this one too. 1-0, 3-0 on aggregate, and there are no changes at half-time. The only change we've had so far, Waneri coming on the right-hand side of the Arsenal attack for the injured Martinelli. So it's black shirts with white stripes and black shorts and socks attacking the goal away to our right, the Gallagate end in the second half for Newcastle. And Anthony Gordon has it far touchline, trying to get the better of Partey. Partey puts it out, it goes away for a throw-in. In goal, Dubravka, Trippier, Schär, Botman, Byrne and Hall the back 5. Guimaraes and Tonali in midfield with Murphy and Gordon getting back to supplement those numbers. Isaac the lone forward. For Arsenal, the goalkeeper is Raya. It's Timber, Saliba who's been booked, Gabriel and Lewis Skelly. And then it's Odegaard, Partey and Rice up front. Waneri, Havertz and Trossard, who's just been fouled agriculturally by Bruno Guimaraes, and it's a yellow card for him.
Yeah, it was a poor challenge there. Just caught him very late on the ankle. Certainly worthy of a yellow.
Yeah, it was a late challenge by Bruno Guimaraes, and the injury seems to have been quite a hefty one, because Trossard now is claiming that he needs a bit of treatment, although now he's just said that I won't have treatment because that means he has to go off the field of play. Well, he's still writhing around in agony, he's still refusing treatment and he's still staying down, so it's got to be one or the other. You either need help or you don't.
Yeah, it was a poor challenge, I've got to say. His ankle was planted as he's played the ball, and Guimaraes is making...
Well, actually, Simon Hooper, to be fair to him, has said if you don't want treatment, then get on with the game.
Yeah, which is
so get up. It's one of the others. So, you know, and I applaud the referee for his behaviour there, because he didn't just allow Trossard to stay on the ground. He said you've got to either get up or you need to get treatment. Which one is it? Anyway, he's hobbling away now, looking as if he has been hurt, in which case he probably might need to see the physio. Raya to take the free kick, which has been given to Arsenal, 20 yards in front of the 18-yard box. What are you expecting from the second half? Because Arsenal really have got no choice, have they? They've just got to throw everything at it.
Well, it's how much belief they've got within the ranks, I would say, you know. And what they need is an early goal, or a goal of some description, just to give them a bit of a lift.
Oh, that's a mistake by Saliba, and then Gordon from distance trying to curl it into the corner. He's missed the target. Alexander Isak looks at him. He looks at Alexander Isak. They do prayer hands in front of their mouths. There's a little cheeky smile from Isak. That was a huge moment. They could have finished it there. Stuart Pearce, Saliba dawdling on the ball, Gordon nabbing it, and from 40 yards out he tried to beat the keeper. Should he have waited?
Yeah, he certainly should have done, in my eyes. There was certainly a gap there, but Isak was the pass.
Here comes Trossard at the other end as Arsenal now go on the hunt. He goes on the outside, tries to drive the ball goalwards. He takes a cannon off Trippier and it goes out for a corner away to our left-hand side.
Yeah,
a big moment, that.
The more and more, well, that was the moment to drive Newcastle to Wembley, and I think he snatched at it too soon. It was on, but he's hit it, and he's hit it with curl, which every metre that it travelled took it away from the goal rather than into the goal. A
couple of Arsenal subs warming up down away to our left as the corner about to be swung in from Declan Rice at the start of this second half. 4 and a bit minutes gone. And there's a lot of movement at the back post here. It goes towards that area. Big punch, a haymaker from Dubravka, who did brilliantly. Watched it all the way and really caught that. Nudged it out to the far side. Back in it comes from Arsenal. Rice is round the back, flicked away by Murphy. It's out for a corner kick again, away to our left-hand side. The pressure continues.
Yeah, as I say, they're building up. Ahead of steam, Arsenal, but they know full well it counts for nothing unless they score. It's only a goal that will really shake Newcastle slightly. At the moment, they're more than comfortable in this game.
Here is the corner kick from the near side. Left arm in the air from Declan Rice. Right-footed, deep ball towards the far post. It's over everybody's head and goes out the way for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. It remains 1-0 to Newcastle United, and Arsenal come into this game in terrific form, unbeaten in the league in 14 matches. They went out to United in the FA Cup on penalties, but largely have been pretty reliable. They've turned up in big moments, like on Sunday, which was arguably one of the most significant wins of Arsene Wenger's tenure. But they're in danger here of going out of the League Cup at the semi-final stage.
Yeah. Saliba's looked very, very vulnerable, hasn't he, on occasion, you know?
And like him.
Yeah, it is. He's been left they've been left 2-on-2 really. Isaac and Gordon against him and Gabriel, and they've been wanting slightly.
Yeah, that's what they've done really well actually, is allow Murphy to track Lewis Skelly. And that has meant that... Oh, they've won it back again inside the area, and Gordon could finish it here. He does! It's a terrible calamity from Raya and Rice. Gordon has picked their pocket, and Newcastle United are going to Wembley on a night where they turned up the heat from the very first minute. Newcastle United have dealt with the emotion of the occasion. They've harnessed the passion from the stands. They've made Arsenal wilt in the heat of St James's Park, and a terrible error has sent Newcastle United and Eddie Howe up Wembley way. It's 4-0 on aggregate, 2-0 on the night, and St James's Park has entered its delirium era.
Well, Gordon missed one slightly earlier. It wasn't a better chance, but Raya there looking to play out. He's looking to bounce one off of Declan Rice. And to be quite honest with you, it was a hospital goal, I think. Declan Rice wasn't ready for it. Great press by Newcastle, man for man. And then all of a sudden, it was Cher, I think, who's ended up making the challenge on Declan Rice. And that surely has put this tie to bed.
What a press. They are so good at that. So organised, so coordinated. They're one of the best high-pressing teams in the league when they get it right. And they have got it right tonight. And Arsenal have faltered and flailed. And they haven't been able to take the chances that have come their way. And Newcastle have been on it. At the beginning of the season, they weren't showing this level of intensity. I spoke to Eddie Howe on a number of occasions. He was so disappointed the team couldn't find that rhythm. Oh, they found it now. They have found it now. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Another slide tackle from Botman puts the ball out over on the far side. Newcastle about to go to Wembley. And the next 40 minutes, I think, Stuart, is going to be a celebration, because there ain't going to be a way for Arsenal to get 4 goals in 40 minutes, I'm afraid.
Well, not the way Newcastle are playing, they certainly won't. They look as though they won't concede a goal, let alone ship one to give Arsenal the opportunity. But at this moment in time, tactically, the line-up's been fantastic. Eddie Howe's got to take a lot of plaudits for that. These teams have come out here defensively, they've done really well, and on the counter-attack, they've been outstanding.
What a story. And what a mistake from the Arsenal backline that have looked uncharacteristically rattled tonight, I think. They were so assured in possession on Sunday. They were so good going forward on Sunday. But now they're struggling again with Isaac going down the left-hand side. The offside flag is up against him. He's just stolen a march, and Isaac just turns around and blames those behind him for not feeding him the ball quick enough. But his runs in behind, Gordon's runs in behind, the high press, all of it has unsettled Arsenal.
Yeah, it has. It's shaken them. It shook them from the early minutes, basically, with a disallowed goal. And from there, they've continued to do it.
Here on this near touchline is Trossard taking the ball towards Murphy, getting on the outside and then almost travelling straight out of play. Newcastle come across with Bruno Guimaraes to nick it back, and then he charges forward. He was being tussled with by Trossard. Foul, says Simon Hooper. Free kick given on the edge of the 18-yard box, and Bruno is the charm. Well, tomorrow night we've got live coverage of Liverpool against Tottenham Hotspur. Who's going to win that one? The lead only slender for Tottenham, who take on Newcastle without Mickey van der Ven. Isak tries to get away from Partey, shrugs him off, used his hands illegally, and the free kick has been given for Newcastle deep inside their own half. That's tomorrow night. Friday night, Manchester United against Leicester. Then we start our weekend. We're into the swing of FA Cup fixtures, aren't we, with 11 live commentaries over the weekend for you, including that Liverpool-Plymouth game, which is down at Home Park, and Birmingham against Newcastle United. So Newcastle going to Birmingham buoyed by that. The scarves twirling above the heads, the noise emanating from the stands at St James's Park is almost deafening. It has been since we walked in here. Burn heads it away, left side. Hall further clear, up over the halfway line. Gordon to try and, again, putting pressure on Saliba, who allowed it to bounce and almost lost out, and now has lost out. It's run loose inside the Arsenal half of the field, and it's been mopped up by a combination of Gabriel and Rice. And again, Trippier doing brilliantly on this near side. They're just sharper.
You've just seen the difference between the two sides here, Sam. Arsenal play it forward, it's 3 versus 3 in a big area in Newcastle's half. Newcastle deal with it without a problem. They launch it forward, it's 4 versus 3 in Arsenal's favour, and they have a problem dealing with it, which is unlike them.
Here is Odegaard over on the far side, into Partey, back to Odegaard once again. He's poked it back to Gabriel. He's gone back towards the halfway line. What next? Who will face them in the Carabao Cup final on March the 16th? We can't wait for it. It'll be live on TalkSport. Into the chest of Havertz. It bounces away. Bruno Guimaraes picks it up, and then Partey brings him down, and that's going to be a free kick. Tonali's asking Simon Hooper for a yellow card. And Jason Tyndall and Eddie Howe are in the ear of the fourth official, who is Thomas Bramall, asking him the same question, I would ascertain.
Guimaraes is clever. He picks the ball up, he carries it away from the opponent that's trying to challenge him. He uses his body, he waits for the challenge to occur, and then just pops his body in the way and draws a foul.
How damaging is this going to be for Arsenal, having come into this game on such a high from Sunday's match, been talking about wanting to win silverware as a badge to show what they've achieved in Arteta's time. The ball goes right through the middle and into the arms of Raya. They did win the FA Cup in his first season, and Raya has launched it long on to Havertz, who's trying to get the better of Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall just stepped across him, and Havertz threw himself to the ground. I actually think Havertz committed a foul there. The free kick's been given to Newcastle. I mean, that was ridiculous, because I thought he was going to get beyond Lewis Hall. Hall just stepped across and made sure that he made a nuisance of himself, didn't make the challenge, just got his body up towards Havertz, didn't even get across him, and Havertz just went to ground.
Yeah, as I say, it makes you wonder what would have been the difference if that had been Isak at the other end, you know what I mean, and him skirting through. And how damaging was the question? Well, they failed to bring another striker in the window. They're out the FA Cup, yep, that's correct.
They've lost Martinelli tonight.
Exactly.
No Jesus, no Saka.
And they're chasing a Liverpool side that look anything but champions already.
Well, they went to Dubai this time last year, and they are going to go to Dubai in the morning. Here is Isak, edge of the area, trying to get a shot away. And it's a little bit too close to the goalkeeper this time to be cleared away. Yeah, whatever happens tonight, they'll be going off on their warm weather training break tomorrow. Now, Arteta will hope that it has the same effect as it had last season, where they came back united, fresher, ready to go again, and only lost 4 points in the Premier League between then and the end of the season. If they do that, they'll be there or thereabouts, 5 points.
Yeah, listen, if they only drop 5 points between now and then, I'm not sure that'll be enough to surpass Liverpool.
Sterling about to come on here for Arsenal, who need to find 4 goals in the next 30 minutes. Lewis Hall away. Tonali picking it up, taking it to the left side of the area. Oh, he's run it out of play. It's going to be a corner. But he looked to try and travel to within the left full-back area to get it clear. Couldn't do so. And it goes out of play for a corner. So Odegaard comes off, and on comes Marino. Mikel Marino used to play for Newcastle United. He joined from Real Sociedad for 27.4 million. And on comes Raheem Sterling.
I think these 2 substitutions send out a message that probably we think this game's up. Exactly that. Odegaard, the golden goose, coming off.
Is that what they call him in the dressing room, you think?
Could do.
Here is Sterling coming on. I didn't see the other player to come off then, Trossard. Oh, because he's had that little injury, hasn't he, as well, which has caused him a little bit of an issue. He got a whack. And there's the other change. Sterling is on. Here is the corner in towards the near post. Flicked away by Murphy. He's had a really good evening. He's scored the goal, but he's also been brilliant defensively, I think.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. He's won a couple of headers from corners. He's done his work going forward, but also as well, he's played a massive part in his final third defensively.
Here's the corner over on the far side, and it'll be whipped in by Nwaneri. It's a decent delivery, punched away by Dubravka, headed further clear by Byrne, picked up by Guimaraes, and he's sent it out towards the left hand side and said to Isaac, go on then, go and chase that, and he has. He's got it over on the far side. Rice has to come across and slide it out for a throw-in over on the far side.
Yeah, good defending there by Declan Rice. Once again, you look at Tonali and Guimaraes, their game understanding is so good.
They're a good team. They're a really good team. What he has done in the time that he's had, and had to juggle this ridiculous situation where they can't spend any money, and they're seemingly getting weaker every transfer window, not stronger. They let go players in the summer. They've had to let 2 players go in the last few weeks, Miguel Almiron and Lloyd Kelly, because of PSR issues, which has caused a few gripes amongst the fans that feel as if they're being kept down and almost in their place by those bigger teams that enforcing the financial controls. To coach this team the way that Eddie Howe has, to get them into the Champions League, possibly get them into the Champions League for a second time, and take them to 2 cup finals, is nothing short of impressive.
Yeah, it certainly is. And as you say, if you've got to lose a couple of players, Lloyd Kelly and Almiron at this moment in time will probably be the pick of the 2 that you would suggest.
Well, this is what he was saying actually yesterday. You know, the quality of the squad is still high, even if the numbers are lighter, as the ball goes into the box from Marino down the right hand side, tries to get the cross in, manages to feed it into the box when Nwaneri was going down that side too, and wanted a free kick, but he's not going to get it. It's going to be a throw-in down by the corner flag.
I think he wanted a penalty. He's gone on the outside of Dan Byrne. Pin cross, yeah, no, not enough in that for me.
Nwaneri back to his feet, and it remains 2-0 to Newcastle on the night, 4-0 on aggregate. Newcastle may have lost the last 2 here, but they had won 10 of the previous 12, including beating Arsenal twice in that run. It is a tough place to come here. Arsenal aren't the only team to have failed to win here this season. Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City and Tottenham have all struggled here too. Partey, centre circle, back to Urian Timber, and then on towards the right side, and Nwaneri trying to ghost his way to the edge of the box, sets it back for Timber now on to Saliba. 4-0 on aggregate to Newcastle United, collected by Lewis Skelly, tackled by Tonali, and then goes back towards Gabriel moves forward. Everybody in Newcastle jerseys behind the ball, set up beautifully. in well choreographed positions. They have to go wide to Sterling. Sterling runs up towards Trippier, his former England colleague, goes up towards the edge of the area, stops, then threatens to go left and right. Murphy's back there to help defend. Gabriel's put a ball into the box, away by Big Dan Burn, out towards the far touchline, and then it goes out of play and away for a throw into Arsenal.
Yeah, Moreno offered himself in a really good position there between midfield and backline, and they're going to have to shove that ball into his feet, I think, as a springboard.
Here is Gordon running away down the left-hand side after they gifted possession back to Newcastle United. Again, brilliant gamesmanship from Gordon. He ran down the left-hand side, hugged the touchline, got the team high up the pitch, then stopped, held the ball, waited, went back, kept them in possession. Trippier, near touchline. In it goes towards Bruno Guimaraes. Got a little bit of a fortunate deflection. Murphy wanted it played down the right-hand side. Asked too much of him. I think he waited too long and Murphy had to check his run. And it goes behind for a goal kick away to our right. Birmingham away in the Cup for Newcastle next. Manchester City away after that. Forest at home here. And then live on TalkSport, they take on Liverpool. And it's Leicester away next when they get back from their holidays for Arsenal. West Ham at home, Forest away. Sunday the 9th of March they play Manchester United in an away game. They've got some big fixtures to come. And they will only be playing for second place and Champions League when they come back from Dubai, unless they can score 4 goals in 25 minutes. Remember, this is the anniversary of Newcastle coming back from 4-0 down to draw 4-4 with Arsenal 14 years ago today. They've won a corner on this near side. Listen to the Newcastle fans. They are loving every minute of this. But there is still a long way to go. The corner about to come in from the near side, the right. Declan Rice is going to take it. They're back-loaded here with 6 at the far post. Timber starts to travel infield, has a word in the ear of Gabriel. Gabriel just moves back towards the edge of the area. It's a right-footed delivery, deep to the far post. The header is away by Byrne. Drops for Waneri, who keeps it alive with a little dab header. Still alive inside the box for Timber. Right side now, Gabriel with the ball at his feet. Tries to get beyond Byrne. Between him and Bruno Guimaraes, they shepherd the ball behind. It's away for another corner. Stuart Pearce. Yeah,
they've done so well, Newcastle. Everywhere the ball lands, anywhere 30 metres out from goal, there's always a number superiority for Newcastle, and that comes from work rate and work rate alone.
They just go forward so quickly as well. When they break, they look like they're so deadly. Torpedoes travelling through the water, looking to sink the Arsenal sub. Timber just getting a word from Simon Hooper. Bruno Guimaraes is in there as well. Another goal for Celtic, who lead Dundee by 6 goals to 0. Nicholas Kuhn has scored again for Celtic. They can extend their lead at the top of the Scottish Premier League table. Here is the corner kick taken by Waneri in towards the middle of the 6-yard box, headed away by Botman. It comes back out to the edge of the 6-yard area, and then Murphy gets it clear. Isaac runs towards the left-hand side and then tries to get beyond Rice. Rice stops him, nudges it out of play, and it's away for a throw over on the far side.
Yeah, Arsenal just can't get a break at the moment. They're hoping that there's a mistake from a Newcastle player, someone's left unmarked, something of that nature, but nothing's falling in their direction.
The Newcastle fans have been singing "It Must Be the Ball" in reference to what happened in the first leg, where Mikel Arteta blamed Arsenal missing chances on the flight of the ball. It apparently went too high. The new Puma ball they use in this competition.
Well, there's only one thing flying high at the moment, and that's Newcastle United, sir.
Yep, and the flags will be waving by the time we get to the end of the game. There's already one that's just started up over on the far side. Now up go the scarves above the heads of the Geordie faithful. They're revelling in their moment in the spotlight. They know but barring a miracle, they're going to Wembley. They're done. They've done it. They've knocked Arsenal aside. And what a campaign they've had, actually. Here is Isak into Gordon. Gordon travels up to halfway, cuts infield, and sends it into the corner. And look at Isak sprinting down that left touchline and causing Saliba real problems. I mean, he gave him a 5-yard head start there, and he caught him. He was like Usain Bolt scampering down that touchline.
I think Juan Torino is the 400-metre runner you're looking for.
Is he?
Would that be correct?
But we're all looking. Everyone else is confused. When was this? 1958?
It could be 68. Mexico, right. 68.
Okay. A little bit before my time. Only a little bit. About 20 years, but close. Here is. If you give me the Seoul Olympics of 1988, I was there every day watching that.
I've no idea who was running in that one.
What, in Seoul?
Yeah.
Linford Christie. That was when Ben Johnson got the suspension after winning the gold for Canada in a world record time. Tested positive for an anabolic steroid. Carl Lewis came second, had his medal upgraded to a gold.
Oh, it's all coming back to me now.
Sean Curley and the Olympic hockey team, remember them?
Yeah, bronze. Did we get the bronze?
Yeah, did really well. Here is... I think they won the gold, yeah. Right, I was only 10, Adrian. Right, leave it out. I know you were 25 and had started your career then, your illustrious career. Here is Nwaneri over on the far side, trying to get the better of Gordon. Goes on the outside, gets to the byline. Oh, brilliant defending from Gordon. He's just stopped him with just sheer persistence. And when you've got a winger that gets back and does that, when you're 4-0 up in a cup semi-final with 20 minutes to go, you know you're onto a good thing.
Sam, it's not always the eye-catching incidents that you think, that's why your team are winning. It's the unselfish stuff off of the ball. We sort of picked it up on Saturday with some of Forest's play, and we're seeing it again from Murphy and from Gordon tonight. Dubravka's down again. I wonder whether they'll bring him off to look after him.
Yeah, well, he's had a few issues, hasn't he? And he's had a few stoppages in play. They've now got a bit of treatment over in front of the Lees' end, which is going to delay things. So there'll be a few minutes added on at the end of the game. And time for me to tell you about what's coming up on TalkSport. Tomorrow morning, Alan Brazil and Gabriel Bonlahor together, reviewing all the action here from a big night of football in the Carabao Cup. I'm sure they'll want to discuss what happened with that mishap right at the start of the second half, where Newcastle took a 2-goal lead thanks to a mishap between Raya and Rice on the edge of the area, and finished off by Gordon to make it 2-0. And almost then you knew that it was unassailable, the lead that Newcastle had amassed. And at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, we've got a huge Carabao Cup second semi-final with Liverpool and Tottenham, and a full-strength India takes on England in a 3-match ODI series starting tomorrow on TalkSport 2. Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma return for India, as does Joe Root for England. Our coverage starts at 7 a.m. The toss is at 7:30 and the match begins at 8. TalkSport 2 for that, and the TalkSport Cricket YouTube channel.
Just in that little break we had then, I just looked at that the Murphy goal. I tell you what, it was a more difficult chance than we probably really give him credit for. He had to take it first time. He's sort of half running away from goal. It was a tough finish for him. Well, it's 5 goals, 8 assists now for Jacob Murphy. He is having the time of his life. And he's 29 years of age now, and it's been late coming to him, but the talent was always there. I remember commentating on him and his brother Josh in the youth team when they were playing for Norwich City, and there was big hopes for them then, and certainly he's starting to live up to that. Nwaneri, edge of the area, into Marino, poor effort by him, comes back to the edge of the box. Nwaneri's effort is a bobbly volley which goes straight through to Dubravka away to our left hand side. 17 to go. Yeah, they've not had many free efforts at goal, Arsenal, have they, so far? Certainly this half they haven't, and Newcastle have played a massive part in that. They really have. They've worked so hard. The intensity has been so good. The level of commitment to get back and defend their goal high. They knew that this was a
a moment to grasp, a moment to savour, an opportunity not to waste, a chance to get to a cup final with a 2-goal lead. And they've taken that chance. Here is Tonali far side, looking to get away from Partey. He's done that. He charges forward, up towards the edge of the area. He gets towards the byline and he wins a free kick. There's a silly foul by Partey. One of frustration, I would suggest.
I'm not sure the referees give a foul.
He might have just given a throw-in over on the far side. Anthony Gordon's got the ball in his hands and he's walking over towards Tonali as if he should have had a foul. Partey was over to him, I think just sort of kicked the ball from behind and caught him as he did so. You might be right, he might have just said play on. And it is out for a throw-in over on the far side. Hall into Gordon trying to hold on to it, plays it against Partey and they get it clear. Arsenal with a bit of neat football to get out from the back. Botman stops it from going any further and it goes out for a throw into Newcastle over on the far touchline as Arsenal look to travel down that right touchline. They couldn't do so Newcastle turn it over. Botman, another one who deserves a big mention tonight. I mentioned how long he'd been absent for and that they'd been protecting him, wrapping him up in cotton wool for tonight. Well, he's shown his worth to this team and he is a real asset to that defensive group. A defensive group that usually keep clean sheets when they're all together. Here is Timber on to Sterling. Sterling brushed off the ball by Guimaraes. Hall, who's done well again tonight, gets it wide out to Gordon. Gordon with a chance to travel with the ball now. He runs dynamically up towards halfway, scoots between two players and then overruns it a little bit. It's mopped up by Saliba, but the ease with which he accelerated away from the Arsenal midfield shouldn't be underestimated. Here is Havertz down the right side looking to get into the box. Oh, it's a poor bit of control by him. And out comes Dubravka to mop it up for Newcastle. 14 minutes to go. Two more subs coming Arsenal's way. One of them is Calafiori. The other one, I think, Jorginho. And I think that's got protectionism written all over it.
Yeah, I think it has. As I say, 4-0 at this stage. We're going into the last 15 minutes of the game. There's no way back. And Newcastle have been wonderful.
They have. And they're going to go to Wembley, and what a day that is going to be, Stuart.
It certainly is for any club, and especially the way these Geordie fans embrace a Wembley visit. You know, they'll be going down in absolute thousands.
They will indeed. And certainly they'll be looking forward to the opportunity to bless Wembley with their presence. And I'm sure it will be a terrific occasion. It always is. And whoever they face, whether it be Liverpool or Tottenham, it will be a story, won't it? Off comes Thomas Partey. On comes Calafiori. On comes Jorginho. And the other change is going to be, I think probably Miles Lewis-Skelly, isn't it? Is going to, oh no. Partey's gone over on the far side. Urin Timber is the other one who's come off. And Calafiori has come on for him and he's gone over to right back. Calafiori usually plays as a left-sided defender that can play right back as well and is travelling in from that position now. That's all 5 substitutes made by the Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta with 12 minutes to go live on TalkSport. The ball is wide out on the left with Raheem Sterling. He travels up to the edge of the penalty area, guides it into Gabriel. His cross is chested down by Marino into Rice. They're trying to guide that back into the path of Saliba, and then it's worked wide to Calafiori. Kraft is about to come on for Newcastle United, but Jason Tindall's had a bit of a problem showing him about the marking duties he's got set pieces because the iPad isn't programmed properly. Joe Willock is going to come on as well. I'd like to see Joe Willock have a good end to the evening after what happened to him at the weekend. He missed a big chance, but he got relentless abuse online, which was absolutely ludicrous.
Been a good servant to this football club.
Here is the corner kick, which has been won by Arsenal away to our left-hand side. And a chance to swing it in for Declan Rice at the end of a game which Arsenal are struggling in, and it's another poor set piece, and there hasn't been too many of those this season, but that's twice now he's kicked it over the top of everyone and straight out to play the other side. Murphy comes off, Willock comes on. That's the first substitution for Newcastle United, the goal scorer Jacob Murphy. And the second change, Sven Botman off, and on comes Emil Kraft. And I'll tell you what, how good has he been tonight? Sven Botman at the heart of the Newcastle defence. Brilliant.
Yeah, he's been absolutely super, gone about his business really well, real good composure in one-on-one situations, and listen, he's played a big part in that. Newcastle fans will be delighted to have him back.
Well, Newcastle have knocked out Chelsea, they've knocked out Forest, they've knocked out Brentford, and they're on their way through in the Carabao Cup semi-final, beating Arsenal. Not a bad set of opponents and victims on the way to Wembley.
If you're going to Wembley in any competition, to take those teams on with potentially Tottenham and Liverpool waiting for you, the victors of that, it's a tough run.
10 minutes to go. Leeds have gone 3-0 in front against Coventry, and Celtic have finished in their game against Dundee 6-0. It's finished there, won by Bruno Guimaraes on the edge of the penalty area. It goes out wide to Gordon trying to tuck in field, but across comes Nwaneri being hassled with by Tonali. Arsenal having a lot of the ball as we get towards the end of the game, but no bother. And it goes back and it's cleared away. That Leeds goal's been disallowed. It remains 2-0 as Havertz goes into the box. Felt he was being pulled down by the retreating Dan Burn, and he wants a penalty kick for that. It was lifted over the top by Jorginho. There was a little bit of contact between the two, but not enough, I don't think, to give a penalty.
No, what's happened is Havertz has come across the line of Dan Burn and sort of initiated the contact, and then Dan Burn's arms have gone out just to sort of, I don't know, protect himself, but there is a slight tug on Havertz, but I think he initiated the initial challenge. I'm not sure they'll get involved in this, and I'm correct.
Yeah, no VAR intervention. And Mikel Arteta's getting frustrated. I wonder how he is going to view this tonight. He'll have to rue those missed opportunities, won't he? That Odegaard chance, that Trossard chance in the first half that they didn't take. If they had taken that, then this would have been a very different game. And it's the same in the first leg between these two, where they hit the post, they steered over from just under the crossbar. And if you don't take your chances against a team as ruthless as Newcastle, you're going to find yourself in trouble.
Yeah, and those mischievous ones amongst us will say, and unless you go into the transfer market and get a striker that will take those chances,
you're going to find yourself with problems like that continually.
Indeed.
And that's the difference, isn't it? You know, you mentioned it in the first half. The truth is that Arteta was saying yesterday he wasn't frustrated about signing a striker in January. Then he sort of almost went back on it and suggested he was disappointed. He thinks the club did the best that they could. He hinted that maybe something was in the offing in the summer. They have been linked with Benjamin Šeško perennially. They flickered admiring glances at Alexander Isak, or they whisper that quietly around here. But without Martinelli for a little period now, and without Jesus and Saka, they are going to rely on what they've got, which is Nwaneri, Sterling, Havertz and Trossard. Is that going to be enough for them to close the gap to Liverpool?
Well, I don't think whatever you do is going to be enough. The way Liverpool are playing at present, the goal-scoring form of Salah.
Here is Willock trying to get the better of Rice. The ball spills into the path of Havertz, and Kraft gets it down the touchline. Willock takes it on now, gets to the edge of the penalty area. Isak wants it played centrally. Willock keeps going. He sets it back for Trippier. Trippier to Bruno Guimaraes, round the corner for Willock. Might still get there by the byline. Produced across is deep towards the far post. Ball was coming in underneath it. It's stabbed away by Nwaneri. Maybe the ball went There was an offside flag, or the ball will go behind there. Either way, it's stopped by the referee, so we'll go off to commentary. The CBS Arena, and full-time for TalkSport's Jeff Peters.
It's finished 2-0 to Leeds, ending Coventry's winning run. Joel Peru smashed in his 13th of the season early on. Jayden Bogle made the most of Dovin's error to roll in Leeds second. The keeper did make a lot of big saves after that to keep the score down. Coventry second best. Leeds win 2-0 and go 5 clear at the top.
Arsenal have the ball deep inside opposition territory. Tyneside was not quite frothing at the mouth before kick-off, but it is certainly ready to burst into party mode now. He walked around the town earlier on, and maybe there was a little bit of cautious optimism, maybe a little bit of anxiety, but the genie is going to be out of the bottle when they blow the full-time whistle here. Stuart, I don't know what time they shut the big market tonight, but I don't know if they're going to be allowed to.
No, I've just seen the shut times. It says March.
Tonali. He's dispossessed. He thinks he's been fouled. The ball's been sent wide towards the right. Willock takes it out of the sky, but Lewis Skelly gets back to stop him from going any further. Newcastle haven't won any trophy for 56 years. The Fairs Cup the last time, 1969. Bob Moncur was the captain. He's still got a mini version of the trophy that he brought to an event that Crook and I hosted last year. And he tells everybody that are listening that if you were on the parade when they won it, the whole city came to a standstill. Just imagine what would happen if they were to come back with a trophy in the middle of March. Here is Havertz, edge of the area. And Arsenal's chances of winning this trophy are gone. Declan Rice with a late challenge. And he's not going to book him, but he is going to give the free kick. And the Newcastle fans want that yellow card to come out of Simon Hoover's pocket. He's not going to do it.
Yeah, once again, Guimaraes just put his body there, kept it away from Declan, and Declan Rice just decided, you know what, I'm going to get some frustration out of my body.
I mean, in any other day, in any other moment, that is a yellow card.
Yeah, it is.
Off comes Sandro Tonali, and Newcastle St James's Park rises as one to applaud his contribution to the cause. Longstaff and Wilson about to come on. Don't be surprised if it's the end of the day for Alexander Isak as well. And again, his contribution significant to a night that will live long in everybody's mind. Eddie Howe talked about nerves and excitement being closely linked, how your brain can go in different directions, how you've got to channel it. How lucky they are to have his calming influence and his level head. Callum Wilson back, which is great news for Newcastle United because it's the first time that they have seen him since early December. He's only played 61 minutes so far this campaign. Marino, deep inside his own half, gets it back to Raya, plays it square, picked up by Gabriel, poor ball. Trippier just hammers it out for a goal kick down the right hand side. I'll tell you what, they may have lost their last two here before tonight, but this is going to be 11 wins and 13 for Newcastle. Their form isn't solid. Those two blips aside, it's actually spectacular.
Yeah, certainly is. I mean, well,
oh, one back by Dan Burn on the edge of the area. It comes back to Bruno Guimaraes, who strikes it. And it goes behind again. And again, that high press, even after 88 minutes, Stuart, still on, still causing Arsenal issues.
Yeah, it is. And as I say, you've had Botman come off. Botman stepped in from the back line all the way in on Declan Rice on occasion. So is Shaw. And they've just gone all the way. And the manager's told them, look, go all the way on Declan Rice, however deep he goes.
You think they targeted him when he's receiving the ball from the press?
No, I just think they've gone man for man all over the pitch.
Right, okay.
And they're happy for a central defender to step out.
Because they're playing three.
Exactly that.
Well, to deliver in this environment, in this moment, when big characters have to push their chests out and show their mental and physical strength, Newcastle have delivered. Here is Rice down the left-hand side, trying to drive the ball into the near post, blocked by Dubravka. He stood firm tonight. He made a key save in the first half as well.
Yeah, he's had a good steady game, and he's come for a couple of crosses as well from corners that have been very, very important.
The ball deflected behind, he's pushed it out, and it's away for another corner, away to our left-hand side. And Arsenal know that they're into the final minute of normal time. How many minutes are going to be added on at the end by our referee this evening, Simon Hooper? I'm going to say it'll be a couple, because there has been a VAR check. There has been a bit of disruption at the end of the second half as well. We had the injury to Trossard. We had a couple of other moments where Dubravka had gone down. Here is the corner. It's driven in towards the far post, and Lewis Skelly arriving. Heads it over the top of the crossbar from just 5 yards out.
Tell you what, great opportunity that was, by the way. Much better ball from Declan Rice. He's put it probably 4 or 5 metres out. Skelly just rose. I'm not sure it took a deflection just before it got to him. That might have just skimmed it off the top of his head.
Well, the Newcastle fans are roaring. It's happening again. They're beating Arsenal again. 4th time in 5 meetings between the two. A terrific record. 4 minutes of added time at the end of this significant football match. A match which will go down in Geordie folklore. The night they beat Arsenal to a place in the Carabao Cup final. Kraft down the right. Lewis Skelly out on this near side. Here's the next change, and Bruno Guimaraes is about to hand the captain's armband over. He goes over towards Lewis Miley. Miley will come on, and Bruno Guimaraes will come off for the final few moments of the game. And Kieran Trippier will get the captain's armband as a result, and the young teenager comes on for the last few moments of the game. Listen to that noise.
And just looking at Trippier and Lewis Skelly, they've been continually at each other for certainly the last half hour or so. And to be fair, credit to the young man, he's got a little bit of fire in his belly, which I quite like.
Yeah, he's a good lad. He's not afraid. He's not a shrinking violet, that is for sure.
No, and you need that in the game.
Yep. Won by Newcastle United in the middle of the Arsenal half after a throw-in which was in Arsenal's hands. Hall trying to trick his way past Calafiori, who brings it clear, and then there's a wrestle on the edge of the box involving Havertz and Cher, and then a bump by Gordon, and it's going to be a free kick, and that is a yellow card for Anthony Gordon, is it? And still going, a little bit more mouth.
To be honest, the Newcastle players now, their football's done the talking for them. They need to just keep their mouth shut, don't get involved in any stupidity, and you can see the niggle between the two sets of players.
Well, listen to that noise. That is the sound of the Geordie choir planning a trip to football's great cathedral. They're going to Wembley, all right, and they have managed this two-legged semi-final superbly. They have outwitted Arsenal, they have outworked Arsenal, and they have won it by 4-0 on aggregate. 2 goals here, 2 goals down at the Emirates Stadium. A terrific performance in every way. And they've come up with a big game mentality tonight. They've shown maturity, which I think maybe at times they haven't always been able to show. Sometimes a little bit inconsistent, but they've been consistent for quite some while. They've had a couple of blips in the last couple of weeks, but they have turned up big time tonight. They've got a corner to defend here in the final minute of added time. At the end of the 2 games across 2 legs in the semi-final, he's straight into the arms of Dubravka. And he will take his time before dispatching upfield. Hotels will be booked tonight. Transport down to Wembley will be too. The 16th of March, there will be a Geordie invasion in the capital. Ball cleared upfield by Dubravka. Through the middle of the pitch. We've played our 4 minutes of added time now. It's sent back through the left side for Havertz to chase for Arsenal. Shepherded perfectly by Cher. Doubling up on him was Trippier. A foul by Havertz given against Trippier. And it's going to be a free kick deep in the corner for Newcastle. They'll take their time. They know that the job is done. And for the second time in 3 years, it's back to Wembley for Newcastle. They gave themselves a golden chance with the first leg win. Now they've got the golden ticket. For so many years, they've been starved of success, starved of hope, but Eddie Howe has restored Newcastle's pride, and now they stand on the cusp of greatness. If a Newcastle team won this trophy, they would become gods in the North East. And thanks to Jacob Murphy and Anthony Gordon, they are 90 minutes away from doing it. Arsenal head to Dubai to lick their wounds, having been unable to overturn a first leg mishap. And an intense atmosphere at St James's Park. In the words of one of this city's greatest sons, Newcastle were there off to get their suits measured. Newcastle 2, Arsenal 0, 4-0 to Newcastle on the night.